there. This is really a response video to one that was made about a fortnight ago entitled Compassion for Narcissists, Yes or No, in which a certain Spartan Life Coach, who I'm very fond of genuinely and a customer, claimed to be a psychologist and that all borderlines were cold-blooded people to be avoided. I came to know this man's work through trying to figure out what was going on with an extremely abusive NPD ex. So let's clear a couple of things up, because I'm borderline, and what I noticed in that relationship was that our insecurities and emotional imbalances definitely seem to stem from the same place, which would be that of rejection, trauma, abandonment. But the way we handled our conditions were on opposite sides of the spectrum completely. Now, this man, this Spartan Life Coach man, has claimed in videos since not to be a psychologist, but that I was aware of because he's here in the UK, and yet we don't use the cluster B system here in the UK. But to explain this, the cluster B category includes histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and antisocial behaviour personality disorder. Now, for a person to be classed as cluster B, they have to be diagnosed with one or more of the personality disorders under the cluster B category. But it is significant to know that just because a person is diagnosed with one of the disorders under the category does not necessarily mean they're diagnosed with any of the other conditions. I, for example, have borderline and bipolar, but I don't have any of the other conditions under the category. So, what I don't understand and what's upsetting me, to be honest, is that this man acknowledges that borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD, it's known as emotional instability personality disorder in the UK here. It's recognised even by himself now to be an emotional response dysregulation, and it's widely accepted to be known to be caused by a traumatic childhood, as are all the disorders under the cluster B category. So the truth is, you're advocating discriminating a bunch of people who are already suffering and isolated and being discriminated against. Like, honestly, like, we have a hard enough time with the authorities. That's another video. And the discrimination has to stop. Whether it comes from not knowing enough, not having enough experience of it, or whether it comes from a bad experience and the Raven paradox. You know, I went with a mentally ill person, it was a bad relationship, therefore all relationships with mentally ill people will be bad relationships. That's a logical fallacy. And so is this, you know, all borderlines are narcissists. This is a false premise, and to avoid them is a false conclusion, because not all borderlines or histrionics, etc., are necessarily narcs. So stop telling everyone ignorantly to avoid us and that we're cold-blooded and we're lizards, etc. It hurts, man, you know? There's a lot of people out there, I'm noticing, making channels about getting over your ex and getting over a cray ex and stuff like that. And I'm wondering just how healthy that is, to be creating a day job out of getting over something. Like, how healthy a guru is that, really? Are you over that yourself? I think it would be best if we work together and try to understand each other. The Spartan Life Coach is quite happy to work with narcissistic personality disorder, self-admitted Sam Vaknin, for instance. He also uses Tudor as an example, HD Tudor, and yet no work with borderlines or other types of cluster Bs, as he insists on calling them. So I'm asking that happens, and that we can all try and communicate and ask each other honest questions, and, you know, universally preferable behaviour and utilitarianism and all that. Just work together, please. This is just a message of peace, hopefully, and I'm trying to defend people here that have been invalidated and traumatized to a point that they've taken on these disorders, and advocating discriminating them further is not healthy, baby. No. I have so much more to say about mental health issues and discrimination and how to stay healthy and blah blah blah. So I'll be back, but thank you very much. I'm sorry about the shizzle sound quality. I can't get my microphone to work, but then I'm struggling with my brain, so slowly. Thanks so much. Take care. Bless. Cheery.